What's up, friends? Welcome to the 26 podcast with Luke and Adrian. On this podcast, we focus on Web3, business, and achieving your personal potential. We're very excited to welcome a special guest today as a part of our Web3 Project Spotlight series. Michael G comes to us from one of our favorite projects, Vayner Sports Pass. During our conversation, Michael shares some insights on his journey from a career in the broader VaynerX organization to his current role in Web3 at Vayner Sports. We go deep into the details of the VSP project and the ways they've been able to combine a love for sports with Web3 and real-life connections. As with all of our episodes, none of what you hear today is to be considered financial advice. This is purely for entertainment and educational purposes. With that all said, let's talk Vayner Sports Pass. What's up, friends? Welcome to the 26 podcast with Luke and Adrian. We are very excited to have a special guest today. We have Michael G from the Vayner Sports Pass project. Michael, welcome to the show. Glad to have you, man.
Thanks, Adrian. Thanks, Luke. Pleasure to be here. Always love chatting with you guys, and anyone from the VSP community is obviously a close friend. So looking forward to chatting here. For
sure. Yeah, we've one of the cool things about Vayner Sports Pass that we really like is that we have the opportunity to be in real life and getting to meet people and hang out. And I think we've had a chance to at least, 2 or 3 times had a chance to hang out. We went to a football game together out in New York, went to VCon. Adrian actually just had a chance to be at y'all's offices. So one of the cool things is just that those connections that you're able to make with somebody with that in real life component, which I think is one of the strong points of Vayner Sports Pass. So super excited to have you on. We've had a chance to chat a little bit before, but really interested in your story and your background. Would love for you to just spend a couple of minutes telling some of the listeners about, your story. How did you get into Web3 and, just a little about your background?
Sure. So I could take us back to kind of my journey of how I ended up from the start of my career until I ended up here working at Vayner Sports Pass, because it's been pretty quick, honestly. It moved very, very fast, where I graduated from college in May 21 and started as a part-time media analyst for Vayner Media, Gary V's marketing agency. And it's funny because I was a bit of a Gary V fan. I wouldn't say I followed his content all the time, but he was someone that was always popping up, always someone that I was interested in learning more about. Always knew I wanted to go into the marketing agency life, and so I chose to go down that path. While I was working for the company, every single, town hall, all hands meeting that Gary would have, he would just constantly talk about NFTs at that time. And I just went down the whole rabbit hole, learning everything, download the MetaMask, put some ETH in it, tried flipping, doing all the stuff that we all did when we were first into NFTs. And a few of my friends got together and we actually started our own NFT project that was charity-based. It was called Typical Tigers. We raised a lot of money and helped save tigers around the world who were at the time going extinct, or at least tigers in the wild were. And so doing that, I kind of noticed my strengths of really enjoying being a community manager and just talking with the community, making updates, speaking on Twitter Spaces, posting on social. And at that time, Gary had a NFT company called Vayner NFT that is now called Vayner 3. And I actually was able to get a one-on-one meeting with him during my time at Vayner Media. And I asked him if there was any position to join at Vayner NFT, because I was really interested in being in NFTs full-time. And so he then connected me with AJ, who had just launched Vayner Sports Pass the month before, needed a lot of help. And I told him what I could bring to the table. He's like, "You're hired." And we've been working on that ever since in May 2022. And so it's been over a year now at Vayner Sports Pass, wearing a lot of hats, definitely a lean team, but it's a lot of fun, a lot of action, a lot of fast-paced stuff. And so, yeah, just constantly going through the day-to-day lives of managing an NFT project and trying to create something sustainable for the future.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. So I think that it's so cool that just like some of the journey that you've had with that. And I'll just attest. I mean, I'm in a lot of different projects out there, and between you, Cal, the rest of the team, like y'all are top notch in terms of engagement with the community. I think that it's one of those things that I think sometimes, like if somebody doesn't know what it means to be in that role, I think you don't really realize how challenging it can be or what it really takes to create, that positivity. Because there's a lot of folks, especially in the Web3 space, that, maybe either have some, maybe some concerns that they express in a way that maybe isn't ideal, but it's definitely a key role in just making it good. And I just commend that, you and the team for what y'all do with that.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean it's a role where we always try and make sure that really every single person has their question answered. I always say that my role is to make sure that everyone is both happy and informed about what's going on within Vayner Sports Pass, and that comes in many forms of making announcements, sending out emails, posting tweets, and then obviously answering questions in the Discord and dealing with any concerns there.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty cool, man. I think that's probably one thing I think a lot of people like to know is like, dude, how did you get to know all these guys, right? How did you get in there? I know you touched on it a little bit, but what kind of drove you? I know you had your own project, and obviously some tenacity to get in there and to really get into basically a huge company, dude. And the company, I think sometimes, I think with that office tour, and I think we hear a lot of like the different sides of VaynerX and the kind of the under the umbrella. How does it all kind of play out? Because you started with Vayner Media, and then you had to shift gears into VSP directly. Like, how was that whole little transition in itself, and how is it to work for the Vaynerchuk Bros?
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of action, a lot of fast paced stuff. Where again, small team, a lot of moving parts. But I could give kind of the overview of the Vayner umbrella. Is so at the top it's VaynerX, right? Gary's holding company, and underneath VaynerX is all his different subsidiaries that we all hear about. The biggest chunk being Vayner Media, the full service marketing agency. And then you have VFriends under there. You have whether it's his wine company, Vayner 3, Gallery Media, slash Group 137, all those things under VaynerX. Well, I work for Vayner Sports, right? Vayner Sports Pass is the company underneath Vayner Sports. And so Vayner Sports is not attached to VaynerX, at least on paper, because a part owner of VaynerX is Stephen Ross, who is a owner of the Miami Dolphins, and a sports company owner can't be attached to a sports agency. So Vayner Sports is on paper completely separate from VaynerX. So when I switched over from Vayner Media to Vayner Sports, I had to give in my laptop, sign a letter of resignation, basically as if I was leaving an entirely new company, even though I was moving around like literally in the same office, some feet down there.
Michael, tell us a little bit about VSP and the project and kind of going into the deep dive of VSP itself.
Yeah, so I think we got to start at the top. Vayner Sports. It all starts there. That's the highly reputable and established kind of full service sports agency. We represent 150 plus athletes across American football, baseball, MMA, and even some esports gamers. All started by AJ Vaynerchuk, who is a certified agent, has some players himself that he represents, and he is the CEO and co-founder of Vayner Sports. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Vayner Sports Pass is the company underneath Vayner Sports, and Vayner Sports Pass essentially leverages their athlete network to provide the value to the members of Vayner Sports Pass. So we kind of brand ourselves as this premier sports membership program, granting our members access to the best sporting events around the world. So that's what I would say VSP, Vayner Sports Pass, is a nutshell, and it's kind of uniquely distinct because it's backed by that Vayner Sports agency that has access to all those athletes.
Yeah, very cool. And with those in real life sporting events and the NFTs in themselves, can you talk a little bit more about like some of the actual NFTs and how they work and how the program's positioning right now?
Yeah, sure. So the way that the ecosystem works is there's different tiers of cards. Each card is its own NFT within Vayner Sports Pass. The more rare that card is, the higher tier that card is, the more likely that you are to attend these events. So to get into the nitty gritty, every single event that we put out is a raffle, kind of like a lottery. So to run through an example of an event that we put on and how you holding a Vayner Sports Pass gets you access, kind of run that full through. So let's just say, so we once, and all this happened, by the way, everything that I'm about to explain to you from start to finish of an example of what we do, all happened. So let's call it the VSP Yankees baseball experience. So Vayner Sports Pass is giving away, let's say, 20 pairs of tickets to a Yankee game. And this experience includes seats in a private suite with AJ, our founder, a tour of Yankee Stadium before the game, on the field, access to batting practice, and everyone left with a signed baseball from a Vayner Sports athlete that pitched in that baseball game. So we're giving away 20 pairs of tickets. Who has access to the raffle of these 20 pair of tickets? Vayner Sports Pass members that own a Vayner Sports Pass NFT that has a baseball icon on it. So there's 10 different icons, 10 different sports. The actual sporting event determines the icon eligibility for that specific raffle. So anyone that holds a VSP with that baseball could enter their NFT into a raffle. We have a proprietary raffle technology system all under a separate website. People create their account. And so we randomly draw 20 winners from all the people that put in their VSP NFTs into the raffle. The more VSPs you have, the more raffle strength you have. Rarer cards have better, like, ping pong balls in the jar when we pull that out. So the winners are randomly drawn, and those 20 people are given those pair of tickets, the access, and all that. So that's just an example of a Vayner Sports Pass raffle event and the experiences that we provide there.
Very cool. Yeah, and those are, I think, one of the cool things about the project. And I think one of the things that's neat, like we talked about before, is the ability to do the in-person events. So I had the luck to be able to go to one of those. So I won the Green is Green last year, and that's when we had a first chance to meet at the Jets game there. And it's just an awesome thing about it too. Is like, it's like, sometimes if it's kind of a more high profile thing, I think you have like some big events that maybe it's a smaller number of tickets because it's, you know, that type of one. But when you have those big community ones, I think it's just a cool thing about it. So fingers crossed, Green is Green is going on right now. So hopefully I can somehow make it 2 years in a row. But my odds are not great. I only have one green card. So but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know I talked a lot around, could sound a little complicated, but it's as simple as acquiring VSP NFT cards, setting up your raffle technology account on the Vayner Sports Pass website, and then once a raffle or a giveaway goes live, if your icons match that, you could enter it. We randomly draw winners there.
Absolutely. Very cool. Yeah, and as you mentioned, there's different types of cards that you have. There's one kind that's kind of a special one that you get to do extra things. So that's the wild card. And I think that one's kind of a unique one. So I think one of the things that's cool about the wild card is ones that, you know, those icons that you just talked about, because they don't have any, they get to enter into all drawings. But there's also some other special things that come along with wild card. And this last year, I'm not sure if it's something that y'all will do every year, but this last year was a pretty cool process where people got to participate in a game through a period of time, and then the finalists got to do an even cooler adventure. Do you want to talk just a little bit about Wildcard and kind of what y'all have done with that in previous years?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Wildcards, those are Vayner Sports Pass NFTs that don't have any icons on them. They're completely blank. Only 97 of them in the 12,505 ESPs in the collection. And they have access to every single raffle, regardless of which icon it is. So as I mentioned, for the baseball raffle, only people with baseball icons could enter. Well, wild cards could enter all of them, baseball, football, whatever it is. Additionally, on top of that, every single holder that owns a wild card has access to what we call wild card game, which is its own digital and in real life mini kind of game show contest where Survivor meets Mr. Beast, kind of, where all those holders that held a wild card competed in 4 rounds. Every round they got eliminated through different means. So for the first round, we did like a digital mini game. It was like a puzzle memory game. And out of the 90-ish people, 20, 30 people got eliminated. And then in round 2, we did like a huge pick'em where there was a crazy sports weekend. People picked like 60 different games. The top 30-ish people who got those picks right entered to round 3. And then in round 3, we did a huge sports trivia down to the final 5, where those final 5 were flown to Las Vegas, where they competed in real life in different survivor style puzzles and mini games, and some sports action was involved. And the final two contestants played a game of Jenga, and that winner took home $100,000 cash. So that was a pretty crazy moment. We're going to be doing wildcard game again this coming year, but it is going to be fully digital.
No, so that's cool, man. So it's going to be fully digital this year, and you have to have a wild card. Stu, that's cool, man. I did actually catch that on the YouTube video, which it actually covered the entire, I don't think it covered the beginning, but it covered the last round, correct? And that was pretty neat, man. Damn Jenga. I don't know if I could do the Jenga. Jenga might be easier than the balancing. There was some balancing acts that was going on over there, and I'm not in the best shape as I used to be. So I'm sure it's a little bit of game of all over the place, right? I mean, anybody can be a winner. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I feel like I could have done well on the Jenga. I'm a pretty good Jenga player in general, and I think this one was giant Jenga if I'm remembering it right. And so I think I could have had a good shot there. Some of the other ones, as long as it's not like, I used to watch Fear Factor a lot, and I don't think y'all did this if I can remember right, but as long as y'all don't make anyone eat bugs, then I'm golden. I think I'm good to go on that. Whenever I'd watch Fear Factor, they do all these hard things, and then they want them to eat bugs. I'm like, yeah, no, I would just lose then at that point. So as long as that's not part of the challenges, then I should be good to go. But I do feel good. So like y'all, just to kind of go on a little bit of a tangent, at VCon this last year, y'all had some physical activations there too. So you had a chance, people had a chance to compete. They would throw a football, they did soccer, and then they did disc golf. And I was telling Adrian while we were in line for that I was very confident at my ability with the disc golf because I play disc golf pretty frequently. And then I was not so confident on the football and the soccer. I got the football on the first try, the soccer on the first try, and then the disc golf is what kind of got me hung up. So I didn't quite make that as fast, but I will say on the record, I did beat Gary V's time. I didn't beat AJ. AJ was higher in the list, but I was right above Gary in there. So I made sure to take a picture of it to prove it. But it was a lot of fun. And so that plus what y'all do with the wild card is just like a really cool thing.
Awesome. Awesome.
And I got a video of you, Luke, so I do have video proof of that as well. I was very confident going in, and I totally sucked balls on the whole thing. So I was very disappointed in myself.
All right. So, and so Michael, so one of the other card types that y'all have, so there's really kind of two additional ones that you have. One of them's a hollow card, which Adrian and I actually had a chance to participate in the Hollow is Alpha event pretty recently. And then you also have one that's called the black card, which had a really interesting mechanism to create those cards. Do you want to talk about those two just a bit and kind of how they work?
Yes, so regarding the Hollow, that is the, I guess you call it, second most rare card in the VSP ecosystem. Those cards have the most raffle strength, so those cards that enter in those raffles for the sporting events, they have the best odds, best chances of winning those. And then when Gary Vee first was promoting Vayner Sports Pass project, he came into the Discord and he said these 3 words that a lot of people tend to say: Hollow is alpha. And we provided an extra little utility for all Hollow holders where if you held a Hollow, you were actually given tickets to a Jets versus Broncos game in Denver. And Gary and AJ actually met up with everyone after the game by a bar in Denver. So a little extra in-person utility. If you can't tell, we love doing all the in-person stuff. That's really where we make those connections. But that's a little bit about the Hollow side of things. And then for Black Card, that is similar to like the Amex Black Card, where it provides the most kind of that premium membership kind of feel, where the 3 main utilities of Black Card being each one gets an airdrop, an NFT airdrop worth a good amount of value every single year, or for 3 years, all these utilities for 3 years. Entry into every single raffle, similar to a wild card, and then one sporting event of their choice with a budget that they have that we send them to whatever they want to do. And so that's a little bit about the different cards. With the black card, any in-person premium event they kind of have access to. So think VCon, all the Black Card members got access to a dinner there. We did something with NFT NYC with them. So always providing access there with the Black Cards.
The Black Cards, I think, is one that I have my eye on. I think they've been a little bit out of my reach thus far, but I did enter a raffle that we have going on. I think it actually releases. So listeners, depending on when you listen to this, it's probably going to be in the past, but there is a raffle for it coming out right now for the rewards program, and so fingers crossed that I'm going to have a chance to win that. But there's a lot of people with a lot of tickets or a lot of entries for it, so my chances are very slim. But really a cool thing there as well. But kind of with that, that's probably a good transition, Michael. I know y'all have recently launched a really cool and new program for the project. I think probably one of the future key elements of it. Do you want to talk just a little bit about the rewards program and kind of how that came about and then how that works?
Yes, so we released this program called VSP Rewards back in early October. And we really believe that ironing out this product that is VSP Rewards is really going to help play into the sustainability aspect of Vayner Sports Pass and the business as a whole. Just simplifying the value in what we could provide to our holders in a more fun way, in a way where people are almost competing not against each other, but with each other, and providing access and utility on a much more frequent basis. So there's really 3 steps to understanding VSP Rewards. Firstly, we operate on a seasonal basis, very similar to video games like Fortnite or Rocket League, where they have their battle pass that you purchase at the beginning of the season that provides you points to spend in the shop and all that. So we operate on that same timeline, where at the beginning of the season, there is a unique seasonal item that you purchase, which gets you points. We call them VS points here. And that grants you access to the VSP Rewards program. Purchasing that seasonal item, which will change every single season. We started at season 0 because this is kind of like the beta, right? For season 0, it was a Vayner Sports Pass PFP NFT. For season 1, we're looking at something for some kind of physical product. So not going to be an NFT for season 1. So once you purchase that season 0 PFP NFT, the seasonal item, you're granted a base amount of points that every single person has. And then if you hold VSP NFTs at the time, then you get additional points on top of that base amount. So that's step 1, point of purchase. Step 2 is you use those actual points in the reward shop on auctions or fixed point experiences. Those things could be tickets to games, signed memorabilia. We've been doing some sports cards. We've been giving away some rare NFTs, a lot of different limited edition merch, game-worn memorabilia, and then any cool access, whether that's access to AJ, an athlete, anyone. And step 3 is really just enjoying that, whether that's at the game, whether that's the custom item. Vayner Sports Pass fulfills all the orders for those VSP Rewards members, whether that's sending you the tickets, shipping you the cards that you got, the collectibles. And yeah, we really believe that figuring out what different items, experiences that people like within the rewards program, scaling that, providing that on a much easier basis without the complications of crypto and NFTs is the way that we're going to be able to get a lot of just more business tech savvy sports fans into Vayner Sports Pass.
Yeah, man, I think that's actually been pretty good so far. I mean, I got into VSP a little bit later in the game, so a little bit, some of it's kind of newer to me. I have actually benefited from the VSP rewards. Getting into season 0 has actually been really good. I've actually really enjoyed doing the office tour that you guys offered. Was lucky enough to get into the auction for basically a stipend for a baseball game, which kind of led to my whole little journey into New York and my little festivities of traveling this last week. But I mean, truly, man, it's just truly saying this as being able to experience sports through you guys has actually been really good. Something that I normally probably wouldn't go to as often. But also kind of just hanging out with you guys, hanging out with the community. for me personally, I think it's been really enjoyable, getting to know you guys, getting to know a lot of the VSP community members. It's been truly a joy. I know for me, I'd say, man, keep it going, dude. Keep it going.
Or actually, I got this hat that I'm wearing. Those of you that are watching the video version of the podcast can see my VSP baseball hat. So that's one of the things that I was able to get in there, and just I think a really good variety of things that you have. So some of them are experience based, some of them are collectibles, some of them are cool things like this Bartbridge VSP hat. So I think some really cool things, and I think that the way that y'all are evolving to I think AJ often talks about it as Web 2.5. And I think that's one of the ways that, especially for the folks that are interested in the experiences, the membership, the community, but maybe, haven't learned about what the Web3 elements yet, or maybe aren't quite comfortable with that yet. I think it's a good way to show people, like, here's what it is, here's what it offers, and here's how you can be a part of this. And then there's options for folks to kind of, continue on their journey from there. If they want to go into the full Web3 experience, they can. Or if they're happy with it, at the 2.5 level, then that's great. We welcome in the community, and it's a cool thing there. So I like the direction that y'all are going with that. I think it's the right way. And so just commend y'all for evolving like that.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that we kind of brand ourselves as, like you were saying, Web 2.5, everything VSP rewards that we just mentioned is all an add-on to the raffle system that I mentioned earlier with the whole baseball experience. All that in tandem with whether it's you want it to be more lottery focused with the raffle giveaways, or maybe a little bit more guaranteed in a way where, there's an auction. You spend your points in an auction. It's, how many points you have to bid that. Straight up redeemables for sports memorabilia. Guaranteed utility there that if you want to get signed baseballs from one of our athletes, Justin Turner, that's going to be on there. You could redeem your points that you paid that seasonal item through for and get that shipped to you directly. So it all depends on where you want to play there.
Very cool. Yeah. So many cool things, I think, coming with the program as a whole. I think I'm really excited to see what comes in season 1, as you have kind of taken some of the learnings from season 0 and go on from there. But I'm obviously super bullish on VSP as a whole, with you, AJ, Cal, everyone else that makes this all happen. Y'all create just a great environment, and we're really happy to be a part of the community. So Michael, as we kind of close out there, anything that you would share with any listeners that maybe want to learn more about VSP, or just maybe how to find you on socials or things like that? Would love for you to kind of share anything there.
Yeah. We actually created a full Git book that goes through a lot of what I was speaking through right now, which is basically like a digital encyclopedia of all the stuff that we've done, explaining rewards, the raffles, Vayner Sports, all that. So happy to link that here for anyone to check out. If you want to follow me on socials, it's at Michael__G3. No more Teddy Tiger. It's Michael G now. So yeah, no, it was a lot of fun being on here. Always love speaking with you guys, especially when it comes to VSP stuff. And yeah, just really appreciate the time, and looking forward to seeing you guys in person again soon.
Absolutely, man. Looking forward to that as well, and really appreciate you coming on the show, and looking forward to chatting again soon.
Love you guys to be here. Love seeing the faces, the smiles, in person, kinda. But thank you guys, both you guys, and appreciate your time, Michael, for joining us today.
Thanks, Adrian. Thanks, Luke.